to meet you at 8, but we had some technical issues. So really, I'm very sorry for being late. But it's better to be late than never. So I take immense pride, and I'm really glad to have with us our very own dear Colonel Sunil Brijkrishan sir, who is an army veteran and a corporate trainer and a coach. He has trained and coached people or students, 150,000 students across the country. And I feel really proud and honored to be hosting a gentleman of his caliber. So, well, Just Bath, and thank you so much for accepting our invitation.
Thank you very much, Kanika. Very kind of you indeed. And you said all the nice words. I am only trying my best to live up to them. I hope I do.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, our audience would like to know something about you, about your story. So please tell them something about yourself.
All right, sure, I'll do that. And you said tell them a story. I always tom-tommed about myself, me being the world's greatest storyteller. And I'm not exaggerating this, but I'm not going to go into that story with people who be probably wanting to hear. But when I talk about being a storyteller, that is something I believe makes things very comfortable for any audience. When you're able to create a scenario in front of them and take them from their physical world, which would probably be in, say, an auditorium or a classroom, and take them into a vatavaran, into a jungle, into a meadow, into a hill, into a plateau, wherever, when they have not really gone there, and then you snap your fingers and they come back to life and they say, oh my god, I thought I was somewhere in the hills of Kashmir. So that is storytelling. But having said that, Kanika, thank you very much to you and the entire team of Just Bath. That includes Shaurya Nigam, my wonderful student of your. It includes people like you, Kanika, and the other girl with a K, which is Karishma. Thank you for having me over. And as regards me, all that I need to say is longish innings now when it came to contact with people, connecting with people, working with people, trying to help people, trying to get helped by people. It's always a two-way traffic. I've always believed, Kanika, you clap with two hands. So 25 years, including my training periods in the Indian Armed Forces, something I'm extremely proud of. Something which when I see on television and when I see some things happening with soldiers and others, it still gives me goosebumps. The tears flow unabashedly because that's what soldiers are all about. Humane and connected. So 25 years in uniform, 20 years out of uniform, where I believe that if I'm still around today, God has been kind to me. I have colleagues and friends, as I keep telling a lot of people, who are, well, not as fortunate as I probably am. I'm still conversing and talking, and I'm physically there with people. A lot of them are not there. And when I ask myself as to what was so great about them and not so great about me, or vice versa, that's the time I come down to Mother Earth and I tell myself, I think the man upstairs has got still something at the back of his mind for me. So I want to give back. So it's my payback time, my dear girl. And I believe that people like you, the youth of this country, and for me, youth goes up to 55 and probably even 60, to be very honest. These are the lifelines, these are the support lines, these are the pillars, these are the foundations. So what little I'm trying to do is make people feel more comfortable, motivate them, make them believe that life is worth enjoying, life is worth listening to the realities of life in a positive manner. We don't exist. I say the Kida Makode are the ones which exist. We are human beings. We live life. And that's what I have been trying all these 20 years that I have been out of uniform. But even when I wore the uniform, this is what I used to do to cajole and motivate my troops. God has been kind, Kanika, and I'm so blessed that I'm here talking to all of you. That's a
Thank
little
you.
about.
Thank you so much, sir. It is our honor, and we feel really proud that you are here to inspire the youth, because this pandemic and this coronavirus situation across the globe has left our careers trembling, and a lot of us have lost jobs, and a lot of us are not getting interview calls. We are not able to find growth in our career. So, my dear friends are Just Bath, those who are watching this live show with Colonel Brijkrishan. We are here to resolve all your questions that you have related to your career. And if you are stuck, if you want to revamp your career, if you are beginning of your career, Colonel Brijkrishan will be very happy to answer your questions. So we will be taking the live questions. Do not hesitate to put them in the comment section. Okay, sir, to begin with, I will start with a question to you, right, sir? So a
Sure,
lot
buddy.
of people, when they are into their mid 30s or late 20s, I would say, they start discovering that they are not happy in the kind of profession they are pursuing. We meet a lot of people at Jasbat who come and talk to us on our community. They say that, they are in certain kind of profession. Like, for example, there is a sales guy who has been into this field for like 10 years, but he doesn't feel happy in it. He says that I feel I don't belong to the sales. I want to be a singer. I want to pursue singing as my profession, but then he's not finding time, and he's wondering if he will be able to find that success. So how to find happiness in what we do?
A great question, Kanika, and a very, very commonly asked question, especially by people whom I believe are middle rung managers. When you said somebody with, say, 10 years of work experience, and that too in a field called sales, where there is connect, sales, where it is communication, sales, where it's negotiation. So you've been in a field for 10 years. And apparently, if you've been in a field for 10 years, to whosoever has asked this question, it gives one to understand that you are probably doing a damn good job. You are probably doing what you wanted to do at the very start. And now suddenly you realize that this is not the me. So, my counter question to such people, Kanika, good people, well meaning people, is did it take you 10 long years to realize or understand or believe that you're the wrong guy? Or it's not you what you wanted to be? Well, two sides to a coin. One, you wanted to get into a field of marketing or sales because that was a passion at some point of time. So you went and did probably a management course, or you probably did something which gave you the expertise, and you did a good job. But somewhere at the back of your mind, you always realize and you thought, there's something else which I can do. Remember, Kanika, I tell a lot of young people, the grass is always green on the other side. You know what I mean by that? You always envy the other man. When I was in uniform, my civilian friends used to look at me and said, wow, look at this guy, especially the girls. They all flipped and flopped head over heels when they saw me on a bike with my uniform. They said, what a fantastic life. You guys are enjoying yourselves. Well, when I looked at them, the civilian people sitting in air conditioned comforts in front of a laptop and, going to a breakout room, having a cup of coffee, I also used to look at them and said, wow, lucky guys. I spent months and years in icy areas, icy temperatures, in hot deserts, in jungles, in atmospheres which I really called air conditioned. And here
Right.
were people who really lived in air conditioned environment. So we always looked at each other with a sense of or a tinge of jealousy. But that's because the grass is green on the other side. My point is, whatever you are, whatever you do, be a good man. You said about happiness, Kanika. I always believe two fantastic words. When you do what you like, that is freedom. Remember, doing what you like is freedom because you did it because you wanted to do it. Nobody stopped you. But
Right.
then let's mix up the words, doing what you like. Let's make it liking what you do. That is happiness, Kanika. Please understand there's a difference between freedom and happiness.
Absolutely.
Freedom gives you the ability to say and do whatever you feel like doing it. At the end of the day, when you come back to bed and say, was I happy with what I did today? I wanted to, I could have, but nahi, maza nahi aaya. Maza nahi aaya is happiness. So freedom and happiness not necessarily always go together. Please understand
Right.
this. But I believe, Kanika, you see, when you are there, you said, I wanted to be a singer, as this gentleman said. Well, if you wanted to be a singer, let me be very honest. A lot of mothers want their children to be Dhonis and Tendulkars. Is it possible? Of course, it is possible. Give that little guy a bat, give him a ball, and tell him when he's 3 years old, get him onto the field and start doing it. But when he's 25 years old and 30 years old, then you give him a bat and a ball and say, now you become a Dhoni or a Tendulkar. It doesn't happen that way.
Right.
Remember, friend, being honest with you, I'm a grounded person. Singing, I'm a superstar singer. I consider myself damn good. My daughter, even years ahead of me in singing. But this was a passion. This was something we loved doing. Now, if you want to say that I want to change over to music, Well, you could, but then you got to look at aspects, stability of a job. Will that music, singing make you a celebrity? Will it make you come up? It doesn't happen like that. So I tell a lot of people, what is your passion? Follow it. What is your profession? Do it. Make your profession something akin to your passion. It can help out. Keep your passions on the other side. Keep doing your music. Keep doing your singing. But to say at the end of the day, oh, maja nahi aa raha hai, sir. I wanted to be something else. I wanted to be something. It's no point doing it. And if you're going to look for a road now, a little too late in the day, my dear friends. I'm not trying to be the pessimist. I'm an optimist. I always believe that the light at the end of a tunnel is sunlight and not an oncoming train.
Right.
वो जो लाइट आती है ना, वो धूप की लाइट, सूरज की लाइट है, ट्रेन नहीं है. द पेसिमिस्ट सेज वो तो ट्रेन आ रही है सर. So I look
Mm.
at the positivity, but let's look at it correctly. You have a job in today's pandemic. Consider yourself blessed. Consider yourself lucky. So do it with elan. Do it with a passion. When you find an opening, when you find a little uh, getaway, when you find music somewhere happening, go and enjoy yourself. Go and sing your heart out. But to say that now I want, this is not the me, it's a little late in the day. Now, as I see a question popping up, what if someone doesn't enjoy his current job? It is ridiculously toxic, but he or she needs the money. Yes. Now you tell me a lovely question. Look at the words used. Ridiculously toxic. Not the best of
Yes.
terms for a job. Yes, I agree. But you need the money, na?
Right, of
So
course.
at the end of the day, Kanika, I was an acronym guy. Acronym is a shortened version of longer statements. United States of America is USA. So I was an
Right.
acronym man, legendary for my acronym. So I always said at the end of the day, Shaurya, the lovely question that he asked, it's a case of PPKS. Maybe Shaurya remembers it. I told him this in Harrier years ago. PPKS is what? Papi Pet Ka Sawal.
Oh,
Please understand. You see, end of the day, however toxic your job may be, it gives you a rosy roti na. What can you do in like this? You don't like your job? Well, if you don't like your job, be man enough to say, okay, I will fend for myself. How many of us have that will? How many of us have that dumb? How many of us have that courage to say, I will not go for work tomorrow. Here's my resignation. I will find a job for myself. Easier said than done, my dear friends. In fact, on the same connected question, Kanika, I tell a lot of my students, you are looking out for better avenues. Nobody should stop you. Why not? We're all ambitious people. We live only once, Kanika. And why shouldn't you be ambitious? For God's sake, is janam mein nahi to kaun se janam mein? But this does not mean that you start looking for a job and you said, yeah, naukri main koshish karunga. Let me resign from my current naukri. Let me quit this particular place. Don't do that. I tell a lot of people, you should quit a job if you're not happy and you find it so ridiculously toxic. You should quit it when you put your hands into your pockets, Kanika, and you find two offer letters with you. Though,
abs-
then you go and hand over that resignation letter to whosoever it may be, only when you are sure that there is something more. I'm not saying that life ends if you don't have a job. No. Soldier aadmi hu. If I believed that, then I would have never survived in life. Please. I believe that tomorrow I got to get back home to dad and mom and wife and kids. I have to do it. So I pushed myself. If I had said, Abhi kya karne hai, abhi naukri nahi hai, dekha jayega, it would have never happened that way. So please understand, ladies and gentlemen, you're happy with what you're doing, fair enough. You're not happy with what you're doing, keep looking, keep observing. If you want to make your passion also part of it, then see how much of your current salary you really need. See, I'm giving you an example. You said, I don't like my job, I hate it, but I can't afford to quit. Okay, lower salary, more waqt. If you have that more waqt, then figure out what you want to do in that more waqt. Create a gradual transition plan. If you can afford to quit, quit. Else, don't. Sorry if I'm being blunt, Kanika, but I'm being very honest. I have kids coming to me every day and saying, Sir, naukri nahi hai ya naukri hai, kya kare? Should I quit this? I said, kya karoge? Have a backup plan. In the army, we always had what is in corporates known as Plan B. In the army, we called it contingency because Murphy will always come and say hello to you as part of his famous law. What does famous law say? When things have to go wrong, they will. So how do you beat Murphy's law? By the three P's. Preparation, preparation, and only preparation. Be prepared. That is why the pandemic today, people took it so comfortably at some point of time, and look what's happening. It's come back and said hello to us with even more vigor.
Right.
And the people said, "कुछ नहीं होने वाला sir. Injection ले लिए, vaccination हो गया. I have done this, I have done that." Has it helped? I hope I've been able to put across a very, very blunt point, very bluntly, Kanika. You have something up your sleeve, cherish it, nurture it. You have it in you to say that I am more capable of doing other things. Go ahead. Then believe in yourself, because self belief is your moral and motto to success.
Right, perfect. So that the perspective that we got from this discussion, where you said that freedom and happiness are two different things. Please do not, uh, uh, integrate them and look at them as one. It's different. Your
Yeah,
passion is your happiness, is your freedom, but your job is, something that you need to do. And
absolutely.
and we hope we have answered Shaurya's question also. So as we were talking about the pandemic, I come up to a question that we had received from one of our users. He says that he has lost job in pandemic, but he's not getting even interview calls. He keeps on applying but doesn't get any interview calls. And he has a 3 years experience in marketing, but no interview calls. Very depressed and very upset. What to do?
That's precisely an aspect which really concerns me, Kanika. I have so many examples in front of me where young people have lost jobs. Not lost job because they were not competent, certainly not. They were the best that that job could probably have as a candidate for a particular job. They have lost out a job because the money hasn't come into an organization. When money stops coming into an organization, how can the organization cater for the needs of its employees? So, with a very heavy heart, a lot of organizations have told good people, "We are sorry, but what to do? We can't sustain you." But imagine, Kanika, imagine, my dear friends, I was talking again loudly to somebody not very long ago. I said, imagine the state of mind of somebody who's finished an engineering or a management course or a law course or whatever course. I'm not specific to any particular profession. Any profession, at the end of the day, when it's time for placements and you get that offer letter, look at the euphoria at home. Look at the happiness on mamas and papas' faces. Look at the mithais which get bantoed to the neighborhood. It's celebration time. And then you're told, in 2 months, you will be given the final date of joining and be ready for all this. Then what happens, Kanika? Then comes that very unfortunate message on WhatsApp, email, wherever, saying this has reference to our earlier issued offer letter. With a very heavy heart, we have to inform you that we have no choice but to withdraw that offer letter. Now imagine the state of mind of that individual. I'm a parent. I've got kids as old as you. Upar niche. How would I feel? How would the parent feel? But that's what pandemics are. That's exactly what has happened in a pandemic. So there is a lot of morale going, down south. But ladies
Right.
and gentlemen, please, I want to make this very clear to everyone. It's not the end of the world. It's not, I repeat, not the end of the world. Pandemics will come and pandemics will go. Jobs will go and jobs will come again. We are making a huge hua about the pandemic. Yes, it has acted as a huge roadblock to our entire life. We're all quarantined, whether we have corona or we don't, because we don't have the abilities to move out. It's as bad. But the point is, it's not the end of the world, Kanika. There were pandemics well before our time, before we ever came into existence. Probably even our grandparents were not around when you had the bubonic plague, when you had the First World War, 1914 to 18. I'm not saying the World War was a pandemic, but it eliminated, exterminated a big chunk of humanity. What happened? Did people jump into the Arabian Sea or to the Pacific Ocean and kill themselves? No, they did not. They got themselves together, regrouped, reassembled, and then said, let's begin life. And then came the Second World War 20 years later. And it exterminated half of humanity again. Then you had cholera, you had influenza, you had tuberculosis. Common things in today's world. You go down to the chemist, buy a few capsules off the shelf and your cholera and your TB and things like that can be controlled. But it exterminated humanity. My point of saying this is you will keep applying for jobs and available opportunities. It may not come immediately. Please, 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 don't lose hope. There are people who said, I've been trying, sir, I've got marketing experience. Marketing experience, damn good. I bet you're a good person. But you can market provided there are things to market and people are able to buy it. What has the pandemic done? The pandemic has acted as a roadblock. It will go, Kanika. My request to people is don't give up. When somebody like me as a soldier says it, for me it was not a job, it was life. It was a question of life and not being allowed. Here एक नौकरी गई दूसरी नौकरी मिलेगी. Friends, please understand, you will get a job. You will take advantage of this downtime. Look at various options. Focus on industries. Go through your various search engines. Find out which industry is hiring. Push in your CVs. Look, it's all about survival. Who dares wins. I go back to my army adages. Mushkil waqt commando sa. Okay, this is a hurdle. This is a problem. We had this huge ditch to jump across with full battle equipment when I was doing my training in the academy, or when I was in the commando wing. I told myself I'll never be able to cross this ditch with all that weight. And the instructor says, you don't cross it, you don't move from here. Many a time I went into that ditch, but I got out of it, and I crossed it, It's believing in yourself. Don't lose hope. Please, my humble request is focus on countries, on industries which are hiring. Follow up with people. Constantly egg them on. Let that guy get fed up of you getting after him. Finally, sir, acha bhai, kuch na kar lena. There is always life. Think outside your box. You don't have to look at it as end of the world. Yes, you are applying. I know people who have been applying for 6 months, nothing has happened. And then the other day I get a message, sir, finally. I said, luck favors the brave. अगर आप में दम है तो किस्मत भी आपको साथ देगी. Please remember this, Kanika. I am only trying again. To be honest, you said Colonel Brijkrishan will come and change the whole scenario. Colonel Brijkrishan is not a jadoogar, but he is. Dichotomy. I cannot use a magic wand and say, hocus pocus, give Kanika a fantastic job as vice president of Suriname. Why did I say Suriname? Say America. No, but America is already occupied, Kanika. So not anything for the time being. But that doesn't happen. No, but what can I tell somebody like my dear Kanika? I said, come on, Kanika. There's so much in you, for God's sake. So much in you. And then Kanika comes back home and says, what did the colonel say? Yeah, I think if he's able to believe in me, why can't I believe in me myself? Self-belief. Please do not lose hope. Do not lose faith. People are saying, do vaccination bhi lage, corona abhi nahi aaya. It will come. Of course it will come. But it may not kill you, na? Please
Mhm.
understand. 2 vaccinations may give you COVID again, but it might probably prevent your departure to the cremation ground a little more. Earlier, it was not the case. That is what I'm trying to say, Kanika. I'm only trying to be as practical as I can.
Right. Absolutely, sir. Your words are motivating, and I feel that users and this gentleman who has given us this question will feel encouraged. The only possible option with us is to keep trying, and as sir said, enhance your industry experience, upskill yourself, find out different options that can, enhance your skills. Thank you so much for answering that question so amazingly, sir. And quickly moving on to our another question, it is I am stuck in my career after spending 6 years in the same job. What shall I do for my growth?
6 years in the same job and you are stuck in your profession. 25 years in the army doing the same job. I would also be saying that I was stuck in my profession, Kanika. But could I just say, okay, enough is enough? No, this is all about career confusions. How do you get rid of career confusions? Let's be very honest about it.
Right.
It's very easy to overcome this confusion in a career at various stages of life, Kanika. It's only when you realize the importance of you as an individual. And if you're confused about a career after being stuck in it for 6 years, well, the first point I'll try and tell you is take it your way. You know what I mean by take it your way? Then take a call,
Right.
look around, explore, dive into the deep waters. Let's take it your way. The second thing that I can advise somebody is, in case you're confused about a career after having been stuck in your present one, then prioritize what you want to do. You talked about a sales engineer or a sales manager or salesman who was doing 10 years in a job and he suddenly says, "This is not me."
Right.
Okay. Then prioritize a little bit of your "this is not me." Work life balance, as a lot of people talk about every day. Come on. There is life, there is work, but balance the two. Prioritize, evaluate. What is it that you can possibly do? You're stuck in the same thing. End of the day, everything becomes monotonous. Kanika and my dear friends, including marriage. Need I say more? Do you remember when you were doing the? Do you remember the time when you bent down on your knees and the guy bent down on his knees and offered you that red rose and said, "Will you be my Valentine?" Ah, you were on cloud nine. Nine
Right.
months later, when you had additions in your family, oh, it was cloud 25. 5 years down the line and 10 years down the line, when there was a knock on the door and the husband entered, you said, "Who are you?" What I'm trying to say, don't take it otherwise. End of the day, everything becomes mechanical, everything becomes stereotyped. But that does not mean you change. You are married to a person for years. Yeah, you don't go and say enough of you, now somebody else. What I'm trying to say is, you got to tell yourself, look, we got to live together. Evaluate, prioritize what is the way you got to go about work. It's I give examples, life and profession. Seek help in case you're looking at a career where you're fed up. Seek help, ask people, talk to people, call me. I tell a lot of people, call me. I'm not a magician as Kanika made me out to be, but I am humane. I'll give you an advice which is well meaning, which is probable and not impossible. I believe there's nothing called impossible if you think there's a probability of it happening. I'm not going to go into Napoleon, I am possible and you are possible, and all that cliched stuff. I have my own methodologies. Move around, talk to people, socialize to know it things better. Look at job openings, look at job work. There is a moment in your life when you are going to feel stuck at the end of a career. Go and ask a managing director, he's a bored man. He's an MD, but he's bored because he had the same environment, the same thing happening. What do? You got to look at. I'm not saying the MD is going to look for a different job. I'm looking at you people. You're confused about a career. Fair enough. Take it your way. Be man enough. Take it on the chin. Say, let me see what I can do. Don't leave it. Keep your eyes and ears open. These are not days. I'm talking again, I repeat, in the days of the pandemic. Today's scenario, ladies and gentlemen, things are a little tight, but it's not the end of the world.
Right.
And when I say this, Kanika, you must also appreciate people like you and me and all the people who are watching or listening to us live on Facebook and others. We are very fortunate and blessed people, aren't we not?
Absolutely.
Have you ever asked mom? Tell me very honestly, Betu. After dinner in the evening, have you ever asked mom, what are the chances that I'll get breakfast the next morning? Have you ever asked mom this question?
Never.
Why, Kanika?
Because
You
we are
said
so used to it.
not used to it only, beta, because you took it for granted that mom, come hell or high water, will have that bread omelette or that paratha or that poha or that upma on the table. You
Right.
never bothered to find out what will mom go through, the mechanics to get you that onto the table. We took it for granted.
Right.
We are lucky, we are fortunate. Mama did it for you, you'll do it for your little laddu rams that you produce them a few years down the line. You'll do the same. The cycle will continue. Aren't we more blessed and fortunate? Look at the others who do not have what we have. We crib because that's our national pastime. अरे क्या नौकरी है? ये कोई नौकरी है? Enjoy what you do. Keep your eyes and ears open. The world is huge. We are tiny droplets. You do not know how much of the world is unexplored. How much can you make a difference? It's up to you. Everything. I always tell people, you can take a horse to the water, but
Right.
can you guarantee that the horse will drink the water?
No.
Another lovely question I see coming up. Young guys who have just graduated are not getting job because of COVID. What can they do? They don't have connects in the industries as yet to push around. What would you advise they do? To be very honest, to answer the first question from Neha Brijkrishan, cool. Oh, That must be the daughter. Good question, Neha. What do they do? Firstly, they ensure that they don't get COVID.
Right.
How do you ensure that, beta? There's
Yes.
nothing guaranteed. If you have to get COVID, I tell people you will get it
Mhm.
because COVID patients are asymptomatic as well. No symptoms, but you have passed it on. But all that I'm saying is wait. There are a lot of people, Neha. I just explained this to the others. A lot of people who have completed graduation. Forget about completed their graduation. Do you know, Kanika, there are a lot of people who have gone into semester 3 of an engineering course or a management course without even stepping foot on campus. They have never even entered the gate of an institution and they're in their third semester and the total course is 4 semesters. Now you tell me, what are you supposed to do? Nothing.
Nothing.
Be not Superman. Your connects in industry, you have it or you don't have it. It's a question of wait and watch. What will I advise such people to do, Neha? I'd advise them to sit at home and use constructive time, do some reading, keep your eyes and ears open, acquire some additional diplomas, degrees which are available online. You cannot go out, period. The companies which you want to get jobs from, they're not going to give it to you because they are shut themselves or they have work from home. You haven't got a job. Arey, use your time. Use it correctly. Use it selectively. Acquire something. I know people who have acquired a lot of diplomas in management, in software, in tech. It will help you tomorrow. Anshul says, I'm glad to hear you out, sir. I have just got recruited to this big fat company for mid-managerial positions. Wonderful, Anshul. And since it's my first job, I'm excited to be part of it and I enjoy this roller coaster ride of the corporate world. So my question is, can you suggest me something that I need to be careful about or any piece of advice from your experience before I start the journey? Firstly, Anshul, hearty congratulations, my boy. So proud to know that you've got a fantastic job. Big fat company. You know what he's talking about, Kanika? Mal
Good
hai,
salary.
paisa hai. Why not? Why not? Why should we not believe in good living? Firstly, Anshul, God bless you. I'm not going to be a saint who's going to go and hibernate in the mountains and do tapasya and stay in a tambu. Though I lived in a tambu for a lot of my life when I was in the army. I know what tambu is and what jungles are. But we all want to live comfortable lives. So congratulations for the job. It's your first job. Show that gusto, show that go, show your get up and go. Your get up and go should not be got up and went. Get up and go is futuristic. Got up and went is past. Showcase your talent to the company you are assigned to. Smile, meet them with pride and pleasure. Use a little bit of communication. Talk to them and say, sir, I am going to add value to this organization. Don't browbeat. Don't showcase things which are not seen. Smile all the time. Whatever is given to you, be focused on this. You have a doubt, ask. My little advice to youngsters. You have a doubt, ask. The problem with a lot of us is ego. Why should I ask?
Absolutely. Yes.
And the normal question, Kanika, you ask somebody, you have been briefed about a project, you don't know certain things about that project, but you will not raise your hand to ask that boss, sir, मुझे ये बात समझ नहीं आई, because you believe others will think you're a fool.
Absolutely.
You believe that if I raise my hand, people will say, क्या गधा है, इसको कुछ पता ही नहीं. अरे, I always go back to that famous Hindi old song, two lines, and said, कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे,
लोग का
लोगों का
काम है
काम है
कहना.
कहना. Why are you bothered about what people will say, Anshul? You have a doubt, raise your hand and say, I'm so sorry, sir. May I request you to rephrase this point or clarify it? It's better to be safe than to be sorry. Just be yourself, Betu. I've seen thousands of Anshuls in my life starting off so well and doing phenomenally well. I believe you have it in you to be a damn good guy. So be honest. You know something? Say, yes, I do. You don't know something? Heavens will not fall if you tell somebody, sir, I'm so sorry, I do not know. It'll be my endeavor to learn. Why bluff? Why poodle fake? Why showcase talent which doesn't exist? नहीं है तो नहीं है, आता है तो आता है, नहीं आता है तो नहीं आता है. How does it matter, ladies and gentlemen? I appreciate a person who comes and tells me, sir, chota muh badi baat, I haven't understood it. I say, sit down, son, let me explain it to you. Thank God. And again, I will go back to my days in uniform when I used to brief my boys about a mission or a program or an encounter, whatever we had to do. I said, if you have doubts, please clear your doubts now. I want my men back live. I don't want them in body bags.
Correct.
This is my endeavor. You have a doubt, ask. Why do you have a doubt? Because you haven't understood it. Aren't you human, Kanika? हर बात हमको नहीं
Absolutely.
समझ आती है बेटा. अगर आपको बात समझ नहीं आई, tell somebody, sir, I haven't understood. What is the maximum he'll tell you? Arey, what the hell, you're so stupid. Call me stupid, sir, it doesn't matter. But I would like to know what is my job before I proceed. There is nothing called bad questions. These are questions. Sagar very rightly put it out. You don't know an answer to a question. How is it a bad question? How is it a stupid question? Why do you call yourself stupid just because you don't know something? Right? Believe in yourself. Have your own self-respect. Nahi aata hai to nahi aata hai. So Anshul, I hope that's going to work for you, my boy. And take it up with a bang. It's a start of a great career, and I'm sure you'll have green pastures very, very soon. Yeah.
Yes. So that was a golden piece of advice for all those who are starting their career. And with that advice, you will not hesitate to learn. And as we continue to learn, we continue to grow. A wonderful advice coming from you, sir. Thank you so much for that advice. And I will put forward a very important question, probably the last question that I have on my list. And it
Yeah.
is like somebody has asked us that the person is very happy with the current, like the organization, the role he has, everything is working fine on his career thing, but he is not able to manage the work life balance, as you had just mentioned in your answer sometime back. Managing that work life balance gets difficult for a lot of people, and now the work from home situation is getting even difficult. It feels like you never are away from the office, you're always working. So how to strike that balance?
All right, Kanika. I'm so glad. I had completely forgotten. I mentioned work-life balance at the initial part of my little chat with you, and I'm glad you brought it back to a little focus. Firstly, I want to ask people, what do you understand by work-life balance? This is more of a cliched corporate management term. Work-life balance, work-life. क्या होता है भैया? What do you mean by work and what do you mean by life? There are a lot of people I know who take their home to their work.
Right.
Conversely, there are a lot of people who bring their work to their homes. So what happens when you bring your home to work? Nobody wants to listen because they've all got their problems. When you bring your work to home, the wife runs away. She's had enough of it. Yes, I'm being very honest. What is work-life balance? It's just a term used to tell you how to distribute your time between professional and personal obligations. That's work-life balance. Now, honestly, Kanika, I told you, beta, I'm no magician. But I'm being honest with you. I'll tell you one thing surely. Who can manage your work-life balance? Nobody on earth except you.
Absolutely.
You may go to counseling sessions. You may come to Colonel Brijkrishan and sit with him for hours and be mesmerized by his phenomenal baritone of a voice and his gyan. That does not change an equation, my dear girl. I can motivate you to the extent that I can take you to the water.
What?
You got to jump into it, beta, or you got to drink that water. Work-life balance, you have to create for yourself. When you have a good work-life balance, you're able to allocate time. You remember what happened now? Everybody is working from home, Kanika. You mentioned this point just now. What used to happen not very long ago, about a year and a half ago, you are all at the work. And
Right.
majority of the young kids I know work for on-site organizations where when it is night for us, it is day for them.
Right.
9 out of 10 software companies, you find lights burning in all the big centers that you see, which are IT specific. And you find people saying, sir, I've got a night shift today, starting at 6 in the evening and going to 6 in the morning. You are 25 years old. For God's sake, you have got a girlfriend or a boyfriend. You like a glass of beer once in a while. You like to swing a hip and shake a leg. Of course. अरे जिंदगी का भी कोई मकसद होता है ना. But what are you doing? Hitting the keyboard, coding in the evening, and you're getting on your nerves, and you said, "ये कोई जिंदगी है?" You curse your office. You said, "I wish I could leave early." You make 10 visits to your boss, walk past his door. You want to tell him, "Sir, can I go half an hour early? I've got a girlfriend." पहली बार मिली है एक लड़की जिंदगी में, कुछ तो कर लो मेरा. But you don't have the guts to tell him. He likes to sit in his office and smoke his cigarettes because he's not allowed to smoke cigarettes at home. So he could go when he feels like it, but because he's sitting in the office and having a cigarette, you have no choice but to stay in the office and you crave to go home. What has happened now, Kanika? Now you are at home
And
and
want
you're
to go
fed
to
up.
office.
And you're fed up. See,
Right.
I'm giving you a live example. We're talking about people with corona getting quarantined. I have been quarantined for 300 days out of 392 days of the corona. Honestly, I haven't gone out. I am a hip hop and happening guy. I keep moving from right, left to center, across and inside India and outside, wherever you want me to. Where am I? In the four walls of the room, looking at one constant face who looks at me, and that's the pretty wife. She still is pretty. She's still lovely. But she says, "Abhi kabhi break mujhe bhi de do.
Right.
Spend half an hour more in the washroom." What am I trying to say, beta? Work-life balance. When you have a good work-life balance, you are able to allocate your time so that you do not overwork and you have focus on other aspects of your life. Family, friends, hobbies, social activity. But it's your job. How do you carry out a work life? Be objective. I know people who said, "Sir, come hell or high water, I have to pump iron in the gym. Sir, I have to do 10 minutes of yoga. I have to play carom every evening for 1 hour with the wife." This is something my beloved children have insisted that whatever happens, pops, you will play carom for 1 hour. Whether you're tired, whether you can do it, or when you have to have your evening cup of tea, you'll go to the terrace and do it. I've been threatened by the sweetheart who's my son's wife, my daughter for that. I have to create it. People can advise you to do it. So how do you create it? Detach your emotional self from your work. Detach it. Nothing is
Right.
going to happen, Kanika. A lot of us
Right.
believe, when you leave your house without a mobile phone, you feel you're walking on the road devoid of all clothes. That is the feeling. Oh my God, I feel I'm not even wearing anything. This stupid little phone has changed your life. Detach yourself from it. Try it out once. I'm not meaning it literally where you have on call. I'm giving examples. Leave it away. I left a phone one day when I had to go for a big program, full day program. I forgot the phone. I was in the cab. I realized, oh my God, the phone nahi hai. And the driver said, "Sir, वापस जाते हैं." I said, "नहीं जाएंगे." Kanika, it was the best 24 hours of my life.
Absolutely.
And I told myself, God forbid, if a news which is not very, very nice has to reach me, it will. पुरानी कहावत है ना बेटा, no news is good news.
Right.
Know how to detach your emotional self from your work self. Do it deliberately. Once you have decided, better, that this is the path that you want to take note of each situation that comes up and try to be objective to that situation. जो होता है, please understand, you treat your time outside work as sacrosanct. Sacrosanct means पत्थर की लकीर.
Mm-hmm.
कुछ भी हो, I have to go out for a morning walk or an evening jog. I have to do it. I know people, beto, who come back dead tired in the night. They have a wash up and they don't get into bed and watch Netflix, something which I've been doing for the last 1 year. But they said, okay, fair enough. 9 o'clock home. Let me do my little bit of physical activity. Let me do something. Let me sing songs. Let me play a musical instrument. Work-life balance. You got to detach yourself from work. Work will never leave you. Boss is never going to spare you. He will make you believe you're indispensable. Believe you me, nobody on earth is.
Indispensable. Absolutely.
Remember this. When Sachin retired, people said, what will happen to cricket? Well, we got a Virat, we got a Rohit, we got a Jasprit. When the great legendary Lata Mangeshkar became old and doesn't sing, we said, kya hoga music ka? Look at the Shreyas that we have, look at the Neha Kakkars we have. There's no dearth of people, beta. And
Right.
once you have decided that this is the path you want to take note of each situation. Your work and your work life are sacrosanctly separate. Protect your time outside work as much as you can. It's your time. Now, a lot of people come and say, "Sir, it's so easy for you to say that. You're a very senior person." Arey Baba, I'm senior person who? I've got young kids like you working under me. And I tell them, get out from here, yeah. Don't hang around here. Come and tell me, "Sir, I want to go." I'm not going to eat you up unless there's an emergency. I used to do it with my men in operations. Give them a break. Go and relax here. एक थोड़ा सा नहर है वहां पर, थोड़ा सा तालाब है. Go and have a dip and come back. I'll see what can be done. You need a change. You need to protect your time outside work as much as you can, Kanika. You
Right.
must be able to switch off from work for your own
Right.
health, your sanity, and the sanity of your friends and family. Remember, work life, if it is imbalanced, the effect is on the home. I
Right.
use the word home and not the house. The home will become a house if there is imbalance in work and life. But when work and life are balanced, house becomes a home. find a way to replenish yourself after a week's work, after a day's work. You've got to create work-life balance. Nobody's going to tell you how. You walk up to your boss and said, "Sir, can I leave early? Can I leave late?" He said, "I don't care. There's a task given to you. I want that task completed." Prioritize your work. We don't prioritize.
Right.
We go about analyzing a case, getting into it without understanding that cases are analyzed with the problem first and with a contingency plan to the end. They fall into place. You don't look at a case and say, "Mera solution aisa hai." How can you come to a solution without an analysis of a problem? How can you do it? The same way, work and life, they need a balance. You got to work and find out what exactly are my priorities. I know young kids today working from home, starting off business calls in the morning, from bed at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, as the case may be, and going right through the night. And even when they're going to party out, they've got their phone and said, "I'll just take 5 minutes and come back because I've got work." Be very clear. In India, ironically, this culture is very different. Outside, I'm not comparing, so don't misunderstand, please. In outside countries, when the door shuts, it shuts. Then I'm not available. Then you can call me, you can leave a text message, I will answer your calls the next day. We may not have reached that, but we need to, na.
Right.
Rome was not built in a day, Kanika.
Right.
There has to be a takeoff point. You are the guys who are going to make the beginning. You are the guys who are going to carry that startup in your way. You are the future. You are the people who are going to change the world. I'm not saying I am a deadwood, not at all. I need 50 more years with your blessings. 50 more. A lot of unfinished tasks. No problems, Anshul. No, you don't have to say thank you ever. You're a young little kid like my little boy who's on the threshold of a great career. All of you.
Right.
This is work life. Balance it. Tarazu, insaf ka tarazu. Kanika.
Right. Yes, thank you so much, sir. I think हम लोग lot of us youngsters जो mid management section है या those are starting, ये डर सबको लगता है कि हम कैसे अपनी work और life को balance करेंगे. But my dear friends, today sir has been a such wonderful advice कि भाई करना तो आपको ही है. Strategize, plan it, schedule it, and when you're out of it, stay out of it. Digital detox की sir ने बात की, I would re-insist on it that whenever you get an opportunity, do that digital detox. You will find real connections, not the digital ones, but the real human connections. And क्या पता you find out something more about your own husband, wife, children. That comes as a surprise. So thank you so much for those amazing insights, sir. It was such an honor, such a pleasure to be hosting you, and you dedicated your precious time. And I believe all my dear Just Bath community, Just Bath users benefit from this conversation. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much again for this live session with Just Bath.
Karika, it's my time to give out the vote of thanks now. All right? Very kind of you, Kanika, and ladies and gentlemen who have been listening to me. Again, let me make one thing absolutely clear. It is you who holds the reins of the carriage you are on. It is you who is going to be the decider of your destiny. It is you who is going to be that symbol which people will look at tomorrow and like to emulate. You have it in you. You believe in yourself. Self belief. My motto to success is self belief. 4 pillars: a desire to excel, a vision to see the larger, broader, far distant picture, that's ambition, persistence, that is to get up every time you fall, and guts, that final bit of energy which helps you cross the finishing line. DVPG: desire, vision, persistence, and guts. Self belief. You have them, nobody will ever question, challenge, pick on you, because he will be doing it at his risk. Thank you for being a wonderful audience. Take whatever I have said with a pinch of salt. You're free to agree to disagree with what I said, but I bet 9.969 of you will agree with what I've said. Kanika, thank you so much. It's been a
Thank you,
pleasure and
sir.
an honor. And I would like to say thanks to Shaurya and Karishma as well. Thank you, and I'm sure, God willing, we'll meet again. Stay safe, Stay blessed, look after yourselves, and before I leave, love your parents like never before. They're the
Right.
greatest asset that you can ever have in life. Remember that. Jai Hind, Jai
Thank
Hind.
you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Dear Jazbat users, I hope you must have benefited from this amazing conversation. We will continue to bring you more of these sessions time and again where experts will advise you. Do not let your current conditions, your current situations keep you in stress or keep you troubled. We are here to listen. We are your own empathy network. We will listen to you. We will try to help you to the best of our capabilities. Please reach out to JustPath. You can log in at www.justpath.com. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We will care for you. We will try to help you in every way possible, but do not let your stress, you don't have to handle it alone. We can help you out. Just speak it out. So, with this note, I wish you all a very happy and a safe night. Stay safe, everybody, and stay emotionally strong. I wish you emotional wellness and well being. Thank you. Good night.
Nice. Good night.